Sarah Thompson, born in 1989 in Connecticut, excelled in school and pursued a partial scholarship to Yale. She met David Thompson, a senior in business, and they married. Despite their success, they struggled with infertility, which strained their relationship. They lived a successful life, but subtle changes began to emerge. David's frequent business trips and distractions, such as forgetting dates, led to doubt. One day, Sarah found a shoebox containing shocking items, including a second phone, birthday cards, and photos of David with a woman and 2 children. The truth revealed that David had another family. Sarah discovered hundreds of messages between David and Jennifer Lawrence, revealing their love and family life. She found Jennifer Lawrence on social media, revealing check-ins at restaurants and vague family references. Sarah felt shock, betrayal, and anger. She found David's charges and a secret bank account tied to Jennifer. Unsure about confronting David, consulting a lawyer, or reaching out to Jennifer, her choices led to fatal consequences. Sarah uncovers that Jennifer, a pediatric nurse, had a double life with David, who lived a lavish life in Columbus. She compares her life to David's, comparing his lavish lifestyle to his simpler life with Jennifer. Sarah's emotions fluctuate between anger, heartbreak, and fascination, questioning if Jennifer was also a victim or if she knew about Sarah all along. She wonders about the children's reactions if they learned their family life was built on lies. The burden of what Sarah had uncovered weighed heavily on her. She knew that confronting David wouldn't just be about her own betrayal. It could destroy 2 young, innocent lives. Yet Sarah couldn't keep living in the dark. She needed answers. On a Friday evening, when David returned from a trip, Sarah was waiting, the shoebox of evidence displayed on the coffee table. His smile quickly disappeared as he saw her, and panic flashed across his face. "We need to talk," Sarah began, her voice shaking. "I know about Jennifer and the kids. I know everything." David stood frozen in shock for a moment before shifting into damage control. He tried to explain, to justify his actions with feeble excuses. But Sarah had heard enough. She unleashed her pent-up anger, demanding to know how long this had been going on, how he could betray her, and whether he had ever truly loved her. As the argument escalated, something changed in David. His apologies were replaced with a cold, calculating demeanor. When Sarah mentioned telling Jennifer the truth, David's tone turned menacing, warning her to think carefully about her next move. For the first time, Sarah saw a side of David she never knew existed, a stranger capable of deception, lies, and perhaps worse. After storming out of the house in anger, David disappeared. In the days that followed, Sarah fell into a fog of grief and fear. She assumed David had gone to Jennifer, maybe even chosen to live with her. But as the days passed with no word from him, her anxiety grew. His credit cards remained unused, his phone inactive. The man she had confronted was no longer the David she thought she knew, and now she had no idea what he might be planning. As the investigation progressed, Jennifer struggled with the harsh reality that the man she had trusted implicitly was not only a liar, but possibly a criminal. She had never questioned David's financial stability, assuming his successful career as a consultant provided their comfortable life. Now, with detectives unearthing evidence of fraud, she found herself facing an uncertain future. Her home, which had once been a symbol of stability and love, now felt like a fragile facade built on deceit. David's disappearance continued to baffle authorities, especially with the discovery of his car near the airport. The lack of clear evidence as to whether he had fled or met with foul play left the investigation at a standstill. As weeks turned into months, the public interest in the case grew. News outlets picked up the story of the missing businessman with 2 families and a Ponzi scheme, further increasing the pressure on the police to find answers. Both Sarah and Jennifer found themselves in the spotlight. Their private anguish turned into public spectacle. Neighbors and acquaintances whispered behind their backs, their lives under constant scrutiny. Sarah's world of betrayal was compounded by the legal chaos of David's crimes. while Jennifer struggled to maintain a semblance of normalcy for her children, all while grappling with the knowledge that their father's love had been shared with another family. In the midst of this turmoil, Sarah began to wonder if David's disappearance had been planned all along. Had he orchestrated this elaborate scheme, intending to vanish when everything fell apart? Or had someone else, perhaps an investor who realized the extent of the fraud, taken matters into their own hands? As the investigation dragged on without resolution, one thing became clear. David Thompson had shattered the lives of everyone who trusted him, leaving behind nothing but questions and devastation. As tensions heightened, Detective Lawson was under immense pressure to piece together the expanding puzzle of David Thompson's life. With Reeves's death now classified as a homicide, the once straightforward case of fraud had spiraled into something much more sinister. The possibility that David had been involved with organized crime added a dangerous new layer, and the mounting threats against those connected to the case only deepened the fear. Sarah, already crippled by anxiety, found herself questioning everyone around her. She no longer trusted her surroundings, and the threatening phone calls made it clear that someone wanted to silence her, or at least intimidate her into backing down. Each night, the unknown caller's heavy breathing seemed to get closer, more menacing, and it eroded what little sense of safety she had left. Meanwhile, Jennifer's situation grew increasingly dire. The vandalism of her car was not just a petty act of aggression, it was a message. Someone knew where she lived, and worse, they knew the vulnerability of her situation. The police were doing what they could, but the threats were becoming more personal, and the stress of it all was taking a toll on her children. In the midst of all this, David's former boss, already dealing with the fallout of the financial scandal, now had to confront the horrifying reality that he too was being targeted. The dead rat sent to his office was a grotesque warning, a chilling indicator that the stakes in the case had risen far beyond fraud or deceit. As the investigation deepened, Detective Lawson's team uncovered more disturbing details. Simon Reeves's hidden documents pointed to offshore accounts and shadowy transactions, linking David to figures suspected of money laundering and organized crime. What had started as an investigation into a double life and financial fraud was now a potential conspiracy, one with deadly consequences. With every new revelation, the situation seemed to grow more complex and dangerous. The fear that gripped Sarah, Jennifer, and everyone else tied to the case wasn't just paranoia. It was a very real danger that had already claimed one life and seemed poised to claim more. Each step closer to the truth felt like another step into a dark and treacherous web, and no one knew who would be next to fall. The aftermath of David Thompson's actions left a trail of devastation that rippled through the lives of everyone connected to him. Sarah, having experienced unbearable emotional turmoil, chose to distance herself from Millbrook, seeking solace elsewhere. Jennifer, equally shaken, stayed in Ohio with her children, trying to piece their lives back together while coping with the painful realities of David's double life. The discovery of Emma's laptop in the abandoned cabin had been the breakthrough the authorities needed. It revealed a criminal empire that extended far beyond David himself, with organized crime connections leading to multiple arrests. While justice was served in some capacity, the haunting reality remained. David's betrayal, the deaths of innocent people like Reeves and Emma, and the overwhelming sorrow felt by those left behind would forever mark the community. David's survival but permanent coma left a bitter taste for many who sought closure. He would never face the consequences of his actions, never atone for the destruction he caused, leaving others to pick up the pieces in the wake of his downfall. Do you believe David's fate was fitting, or should there have been a different outcome? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updates, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.